So I think this right here is a pretty fantastic update actually for ICP, and the reason why, even though nothing I say is financial advice, is because something called the Internet Computer Today, around 2 days ago, they posted how basically Dfinity just announced that ICP cloud engines will allow developers to run cloud on cloud. What does that even mean, right? So supposedly this means deploying the world computer directly over something like Amazon Web Services or Oracle Cloud, and some others, right? So I think this right here is pretty impressive because sure, it may not really matter as of right now when ICP is below $3, some people like to say, but actually in the grand scheme of things, this could matter for developers. And if we think about it, right, what could affect hypothetically the charts when it comes to ICP later? It's if, let's say, there's a lot of adoption and a lot of attention, but naturally that comes usually when a lot of developers start entering, right? If a lot of developers start building things, what happens sometimes if it starts gaining mass adoption, the attention increases, naturally the awareness also increases. So when people like to say this type of stuff doesn't matter, who cares about this? Well, again, this is sometimes crucial for later. Take a look at Cardano. All the building that it did prior to the 2021 altcoin season, we saw what happened in 2021. We saw the fruits, basically, right? That's the way you take a look at it, the fruits of the labor. In a sense where Cardano was doing all of that, then suddenly in 2021, ADA, as native token, we saw what it did. ADA, keep in mind, at one point was hovering at around a couple cents. A lot of people thought it was done. A lot of people thought it was cooked. Then suddenly we saw it reach well beyond $2 in 2021. But I don't think that naturally would have been a feasible thing had Cardano stopped, doing things and then stopped, basically doing anything. So when I see something like, again, Dfinity announcing that ICP cloud engines will allow developers to run cloud on cloud, I think that right there could really have implications maybe moving forward. But the keyword is maybe, right? Not every single developer out there would want to do that, but at least there is that option. So if there are more options, doesn't that open more doors, right, to maybe potential developers wanting to do things? Because it's just giving more so of like a variety in a sense where if, let's say, I went inside a restaurant and there's like, sushi and there's pizza and stuff like that, it may open more doors to that restaurant, or should I say a buffet. So that's the way you take a look at it. It opens like a larger customer base, right? A larger consumer base. So yeah, besides that point though, it's clearly not doing much when it comes to the charts, when it comes to ICP, but that's besides the point. This type of stuff right here is what's going to maybe affect it later. It doesn't showcase it right now. It's not like it's partnering up with a celebrity or something like that. That's a different case. Partnering up with like a celebrity, with an athlete, or let's say an actor or something like that. That usually has like more so of an immediate, attention spike, right? But like, let's say Dfinity announcing ICP cloud engines will allow developers to run cloud on cloud. At face value, it seems like very boring. At face value, it seems like who's going to care about that? But that type of stuff could matter later. So sometimes I think people, aren't really considering what maybe the future impact could be. Sometimes they only take a look at it at that instant moment only, right? Or should I say at that exact instance, I should say. But the way you take a look at it is affecting developers. First of all, if there's an update maybe helping developers, that's not really going to be such a unique, driving factor as of right now, because the thing is, a lot of developers simply don't really want to enter at a time like this for this space. Why would they do that? Usually the space is not doing the best. What are they going to do? Waste a lot of time, resources, and energy to launch things? Some will still do that regardless, but a lot probably won't really want to unless the space recovers. So at face value, again, that update may not sound that cool, but it's like for later. That's the way you take a look at it. It's like the dessert. You know what I mean? It's not something we really want to eat for the beginning of the meal. First we eat the appetizer, the main course, and all this. The dessert's the kind of cherry on top. That's the way you take a look at it, right? It's kind of like that salt, it's the seasoning. It happens maybe in some cases later. So that's why I just haven't given up. And, speaking of seasoning, actually, my mindset is this. I feel like the missing ingredient, hypothetically, when it comes to a lot of projects out there in the top 100, which ICP is, by the way, it's actually top 50 within this space in terms of market cap, which naturally, of course, also puts it at the top 100. But besides that, I feel like for projects out there that have a big following, getting in the top 100 and stuff like that, including ICP, I feel like hypothetically, in some cases, the missing ingredient is a hypothetical altcoin season. The fundamentals are sometimes already there. Like, for instance, when it comes to Cardano, is it doing the best? No. But the fundamentals are there. We know it's a pretty okay layer 1 blockchain, right? For instance, I'm just going to use Cardano as an example. If I kind of even want to take a look at the internet computer, the fundamentals seem to be there. Take a look at Dfinity, what they did with Caffeine AI. Take a look at Chain Fusion when it comes to ICP. Again, the fundamentals, the narrative, it's already there. The missing thing is a hypothetical altcoin season. So personally for me, yeah, I just don't want to give up personally. I mean, why would I do that? ICP is well below $3. Am I gonna just leave like that at basically near all-time low territory, which ICP kind of is actually near somewhat of its all-time low. But I'm just saying, leaving like that? No, sir. I'm not gonna be doing that, especially as of right now. Because again, it just kind of makes no sense for me to do that. It's like me having a bicycle and randomly selling it for no reason at a huge loss like that. Like, I don't know why I would do that for a bicycle, in my opinion, if I'm actually still using it or if I actually still like it. I'm just simply not going to get rid of it because a lot of my friends are getting rid of the bicycle, or their bicycle, I should say. Like, I'm not going to be doing that just because a lot of people thought it was not cool or something. Like, no. If I still like it, if I still want to use it, I'm not going to get rid of it at a big loss like that for no reason when it comes to the bicycle. It has nothing to do with this. But sometimes that's the analogy that I have. This is kind of my mindset. So personally for me, I'm just still dollar cost averaging once a month. I don't have to. Like, it's not a requirement, by the way, right? But I'm just voluntarily choosing to do so because I still like ICP. And also on top of that, I think the internet computer, there seems to be a lot of things lately that I think have been able to kind of entice developers, right? At least when it comes to what Dfinity is doing. Like, for instance, Caffeine AI, self-writing apps platform. I take a look at, again, what they did recently with ICP Cloud Engines, which of course I talked about already earlier on in the video. So again, it seems like they're doing a lot of things lately when it comes to the developer side of things in terms of wanting to entice developers. But I think that right there, is all for later, right? It's basically putting, something in the freezer for later consumption. But yeah, that's just kind of the analogy that I have. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but it's just been a pretty quick update when it comes to ICP because I just thought it was a pretty cool thing that, Dfinity did recently. So I felt like talking about it, and yeah, hopefully I'll see y'all on future upcoming videos because I'll be sure to make more updated videos when it comes to ICP. So again, hopefully I'll see y'all there. It's been Lee the Captain, and again, hopefully I'll see y'all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.